I am not a dictator. I'm the president. So ultimately, if Mitch McConnell or John Boehner say we need to go to catch a plane, I can't have Secret Service block the doorway.
James Taranto, the president is correct. He cannot order the Secret Service to detain members of Congress. Is it my imagination, or does the president seem to address very often the topic of his authority or lack of authority as he sees it under the Constitution?
Yeah, this isn't the first time he's said something like this, although usually he said things like, I'm not the king. This time he said, I'm not a dictator. The inevitable comparison is to Richard Nixon saying, I'm not a crook, or Bill Clinton saying, I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Of course, this is a little different because in this case, the president is actually telling the truth. He's not a dictator, but he seems to have the supposition is that he would like to be one, and I suppose wouldn't we all at some point or another, but he seems to be particularly frustrated by his lack of dictatorial powers.
Well, I suppose some people could read it charitably as this is the old constitutional law professor who's offering a free civics course for anyone who's watching the proceedings.
Yeah, well, you're more charitable than I am, Freeman.
Or is it possibly, is this just excuse making?
I think it's kind of an admission of incompetence. It's an admission that he's not very good at being president, which is distinct from, I mean, he's very good at getting elected. He's done it twice. Let's not take that away from him. But he's not very good at the job of negotiating with one's adversaries, commanding respect from one's adversaries. As we saw in the previous segment, he's not even very good at commanding fear. Right. And so he finds himself in this position where he's kind of standing there admitting his impotence.
Now, the other issue, and Kim Strassel alluded to it in our earlier discussion, is that he is obviously very focused on 2014, on trying to return the House to Democratic control. We've been saying this for months. I gather other media outlets are now covering this as well. Is this simply, basically, hammering home the argument, look, Americans, if you want my agenda, you've got to get rid of the Republican House, or get rid of or switch the leadership,
Well, he does seem to have, I mean, I kind of realized this once and for all with the State of the Union address, where he put forward a whole bunch of big proposals that clearly are not going to go anywhere with the Republican House, and also with a lot of the Democrats in the Senate. So, yes, he seems to be banking the next 2 years of his presidency on his ability to elect a Republican House, a Democratic House rather, in 2014. I don't think that's very likely because remember, the current Republican House was elected by the 2012 electorate, the same electorate that gave us Barack Obama. Democrats have a much harder time winning the House than they have winning statewide races because their voters tend to be concentrated in urban areas, and then in a lot of states, Republicans controlled the redistricting process. So it's hard to see a path to a Democratic House in 2014.
We're short on time, but I think what he's clearly done is encourage some of his base voters, though. It seems like you are seeing some of his core supporters say, great, he's taking an aggressive tone with Republicans in the House.
Yeah, and that was more or less sufficient, that and smearing Mitt Romney to win him re-election. I'm not sure where it gets him now when he's expected to govern the country.
Actually do something. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, James.
Thanks.